Do you know how to shoot time lapses properly? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips of how to do just that and much more in this episode of the Camera Strategy series. Coming up. This is my basic tutorial as how to produce a basic time lapse and my top tips of how to get a good time lapse and what you're really looking for. Now, what you're looking for depends on how you really work, what kind of videos you're producing, whether it's nature photography, nature videos, whatever else that you're doing. So it really depends on a very personal level of what you want to film. But as to how you film it, there's basic principles and a kind of formula as how to do that. And I'm going to kind of sharing that with you as a bit of an example today. So, I thought I'd show you my kind of time-lapse sort of thing. If I'm introducing a video, unless I'm like in a city or doing something specific, I will do like either trees or flowers or grass or something like that blowing in the wind. So things blowing in the wind. And that's the sort of thing that I do. Now, over here, I'm just setting up my phone. And here I have my phone set up with my grip-tight Gorillapod, which everything I'm using in this video to film the video and everything else featured, like phone and tripod and everything like that, all Joby equipment and stuff like that, will be linked down below. But it's as simple as this. You find what you want to film, which in this case is like dandelions and whatever else, and it's a little bit windy today, so that all blowing in the wind, and just set it off. And then you leave it to go. Also, if you're shooting on Android, obviously I'm not like this is a Nikon Coolpix, not brilliant camera, so you can't see the quality that well, but I'm sure that when you saw me click that button, it all kind of zoomed in and something else happened and the focus just got a little bit better. So I'll leave that to go for a little while and just let that run, and that's kind of my basic time lapse and how I generally shoot a time lapse. And we'll let that go, and then we'll talk a little bit about that after it is done. But yeah, I'll set that time lapse off to go. When it's finished, I'll show you, and we'll talk a little bit about. Okay, so it's been about a minute and a half, 2 minutes since I started shooting the time lapse. So I'm going to keep that going for a little while. Now, it really depends on what you are filming and how long you want it to be when it's edited down, and how it will look and how smooth it will be and how many frames per second. That's a more technical version. But basically, the more you speed it up, the less quality it's going to have when it's sped up. So like the less frames are going to be included. So if you want it to be a smoother feel, I guess shoot it for longer, and then speed it up quite a bit. But that can look a little bit jagged. So if you really want a very clean time lapse, don't shoot it for too long. But shoot it as long to get the effect you want. So if it's trees blowing, a couple of minutes, I'll say. If it's more like something moving like a car or a boat, something like that, it depends on how fast that thing is moving, and that's something you have to judge more personally. But in terms of this, it's been going about 2 minutes or something, and that'll be probably good enough for what I'm doing. So I'll just stop that right now. And then that's my time lapse saved, and then I'll edit that down later. Now, I will show you in regards to how I edit that, and if you want, I'll probably link up a card somewhere up here relating to my editing software, so the behind-the-scenes editing side of things, and that includes my editing software. That is an old video, so don't judge me back then. That was a long time ago. But the editing software I use generally for time lapse is VSDC video editor, and I can do that I think up to 10,000 times. So it used to be up to I think 1,000 times or 800 times the speed of the video, and then it's 10,000 times now. If you want, one of my tips is that if you are going to speed it up quite a lot, so if it's a very long time lapse, say like an hour, 2 hours or something like that, if it's quite a long time lapse, or a hyper lapse, you might want to like 10,000 times that, 10,000 times that, 10,000 times that, and before you know it, you're like 10 million times that. And it just really depends on what you're filming as to how much you speed up and how long you shoot for. So I'll leave that up to you. But the basic principles of it is you want your camera to be very still, so you need a very good tripod, or if you are panning scenery, then also you want to keep you want to keep the shake quite still, but obviously turn it around horizontally. You want it to be able to be moving, and you can either use like a like a pivot for that or whatever else, and that will be covered in a later video of the series. Specifically for this, I use my tripods, which are Joby. As I said, I'll link it all down below in the description. But for this, it's the Joby grip type stand for smartphone, hence that, and also the adapter that goes onto here, which comes with the whole tripod set. We'll also link on to this tripod that I've got here, which is the Joby hybrid Gorillapod. Now they're all Gorillapods, so they're technically not tripods. That means they can bend around railings or whatever else, and they're much more useful, especially for shooting time lapses. And in terms of time lapses, as I said, it depends on what you're filming. But if you're going to be shooting a particularly long time lapse, if it shakes a little bit, it doesn't matter too much, but it certainly matters a lot more when you've got a very short time lapse, and when you speed that up, it will look more jaggedy. But if there's a little shake, like wind or something, don't matter too much, but just make sure your tripod is stable, won't fall over, and get the cleanest shot you can. So I'm just going to head on in now and edit up this time lapse. I shall get the actual time lapse, which you'll see in a minute, and edit that, and then just all the time lapses and everything. I'm going to go and edit it and show you my editing software that I use for it. Okay, so we've headed on into it, the editing, and this is my editing software that I use for time lapses. VSDC free video editor. You can see here the symbol if you do want to go and download it, hence free. This is a very good video editor, and over here there's a whole kind of I'll read this out because it doesn't want to focus on my screen. Don't really know why this camera doesn't like focusing on screens. If you want, you can go check out the camera amp vlog. I should hopefully link it somewhere up here. And the camera amp vlog talks about why he does not like to focus on certain things. That's annoying. Anyway, I'll read this all out. So, Explore Pro Solution, it talks about why to upgrade. I'm not going to discourage you from upgrading. Personally, I don't really feel it's necessary. But if you want to keep this site going or donate to it, feel free. It says hardware acceleration, which is disgusting. They actually slow it down deliberately, so you have to pay for the Pro version. Won't argue with that anyway. So, here you go. I'm going to basically just run through what I basically do. I do believe I'm going to be doing a video. I have already done, I think I was speaking about it earlier in the video, about my behind the scenes editing kind of video, which I should link up somewhere within this video, if I haven't already done that. And I'm probably going to do a future one as well at some point, potentially in the tips and strategy video series, but I'll run through this very basically. So here we go, we have add videos. You can also add like music and whatever else, but we're going to add video for now, which shall be my time-lapse content. So I'm actually going to edit this for real now, so I'm not going to like fake this or anything. So here we go, we have the video right there. It will automatically select MP4 files, I do believe. Here you just have the basics of like add layer, insert layer, whatever else, cursor, position, duration, whatever else. Just click enter. Simple enough. And then we have the video file down here. And what I shall do is I shall separate this out. So I'll go down on the right hand side of the screen. All down here is a lot of settings, which I'm not going to do just yet. And this is the important part. Split to video and audio. That gets rid of this. So when you speed it up, when you're editing time lapses, a lot of people shoot time lapses in time lapse mode. I personally don't, and I just edit it later. I prefer doing that because then you can customize it a little bit more as to when you finish and end the time lapse and whatever else. But unless you want the kind of sounding thing when you speed it up of your own voice, it drives me crazy. I did it before and it drove me nuts. Split it into audio and video. Select the video, the audio I mean, and delete that, and then you're just left with the video, which is not sped up just yet. And I'll go down, and then on the right hand side here, and this is the really important part, it says speed and in brackets percentage. It may be different if you're using a different editor. Select that. If 100%, And I do believe you can up this all the way to 10,000%, so we shall try this. Yeah, 10,000 times, times percent, I don't know, times percent. To only go up to 10,000 or 100,000 or something like that. Let's push all up. Now, I do believe that's... How many zeros does that for crying out loud? Okay, I'm going to try and select this and count the zeros. So 1, 2, 3... Yeah, 10,000. Couldn't see for a minute there. Yeah, so 10,000%. So whatever times that is. 1,000 times, I think. I was saying earlier on 800 times, but it's 1,000 times. Or before it used to go up at 800%, not 10,000%, so they updated it. And obviously it may be even more now on a more updated edition, but I haven't updated mine for a little while, so maybe different for yours. But that's a general gist. I'm not going to try and go on too long with this. But then that's all sped up. I'm going to edit it for real, so whatever I want. So you might cut, you might try it a different way. So I'll try it with 1,000. So that's left me with like 19 seconds of footage. So I might want it a little bit more. So I'll go up to, say, why wasn't it? Change. We'll go up to, say, 3,000. We'll go with that. And that's about 7 seconds of footage or so. That's generally what I like, 6.5, 7 seconds of footage. Tends to be what I like. I like longer time lapses to kind of let people see it a little more than like the Casey Neistat style ones. So like, boom, and they're gone. So, yeah, we'll do that. And then you go to Export Project, which is next to Editor at the top on the bars. My computer is going awfully slow today. And then I shall save it as Flower Timelapse. Also, I do believe earlier in the video I referred to these the daffodils as dandelions. Sorry. I made mistakes. Mistakes were made, don't worry. I tend to export as WMV, in case you're wondering. Make sure it's selected as PC, WMV, and it actually selects properly. And you got it in the right location. Change name, you can select the location and everything. A little bit complicated down the bottom, ignore the bottom crap down there. Select WMV if you actually do it. For some reason my PC is playing up like hell today. Doesn't seem to want to do it, but that's the general gist of this. This is now not responding. My PC just loves me right now. Yeah. Great time when I'm kind of reviewing this editing software to do that. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. You would normally just click export video. That's the only thing I've left to do, so don't worry, like I missed everything out particularly. I think it's actually going to let me do it now. Either way, I'll end the video here. I shall just continue through that, export, won't upgrade to Pro or anything like that. We're doing this completely free, making our time lapse, as hopefully you'll do also. So if you do want to download that, that is the VSDC video editor. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, definitely consider subscribing to the channel for more content just like this of the camera techniques series. The tips and strategy videos also kind of very closely linked to this series. Definitely go check that out content-wise. Check out any end screens, cards, anything like that. There's been featured either throughout the video or on screen about now. Yeah, hopefully I should see you in your next episode, next week or something like that. And if you wondered anything it took me to film this video or featured in the video or whatever else like that, then check down below. Also what I used to edit the video, which shall include VSDC free video editor. Anyway, my name's been Coolcat, and goodbye.